Greetings, Keishlings. Keishan Prime here with another One Punch Man Power video. Today we're doing Tatsumaki, S-Class, Rank 2 Hero. Let's go. With all these power-up videos, I do, like, equipment, general power-up concepts, super moves, that sort of thing. And, yeah, for a lot of these, I'm going to have to go into very heavy speculative, methods, or just plain old theory, you know, of how she could unlock some of these abilities. I'm using some information from like Mob Psycho 100, another one creation, and like because I don't know anything from the webcomic, please don't spoil me or confirm any of this if I happen to be correct, that Tatsumaki and Fubuki might have been experimented on unlocking their psychic powers, because it's hard to say if they were born with them. You would think they'd be a little closer in power, you know? So I can't really say for sure. So if they go the experimental route, and that's unlocking their powers, maybe she could unlock more types of psychic abilities. And another route they could take is like through osmosis, so to speak, or maybe a possession by another psychic of some sort. She then gains any psychic abilities they have. We saw this in Mob Psycho with, I always forget their names, but I think it was like, it began with an R. Crap, it's Mob's little brother. He gained it after, the little green ghost spirit, he, possessed him, and then he started gaining telekinesis as well. So we could maybe do this with Tatsumaki. So osmosis psychic powers, essentially. But anyway, to start this off, I'm going to do equipment, and I came up with essentially 3 pieces of equipment. The first one would be a tote bag for the other pieces of equipment. Real simple little like side bag, lightweight, nothing special. Next up is a book of Hero Association brand matches. If you want yours today, go to your local branch office. I could really see this being a thing. Like, people go to their branch offices, and you're thinking, oh, but wouldn't they all be the same? Well, no. Just like decorative spoons. Like, you get, like, little tiny spoons from, like, various states over here in America. Like, each state has their own, like, designs and their own seals for the state and whatnot. So I could see this being for each city. And there's, like, 25 cities, because City A probably wouldn't be doing this. And it could be a little lucrative, you know, exploit that the Hero Association could get for tourism money, essentially, and bring in income to the association. Because, like, they could probably be selling these things as souvenirs, you know, for a moderate price. I mean, but they could mass produce these things for a fairly cheap amount, I'm sure. So, yeah, like, each branch office would have their own kind, and people could go to different cities and buy some from those branch offices. But what its true purpose is comes up a little bit later. Next up is a crystal ball. Just your, you know, look into my crystal ball and I will tell you of many things. You know, real simple crystal ball idea. Nothing special there. It plays a role later on. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Two on top of each other like that. But anyway, getting into like a super move, we have Puppet Master. And I basically envision this move like Kankuro's chakra strings from Naruto, where he could manipulate puppets using his chakra, except replace the chakra with telekinetic energy. Tatsumaki could do that. She has quite the abundance of it. And then she controls the movements of an enemy, say a monster or whatever. So like a scenario where she's fighting, say, 500 monsters. And she just really wants to be brutal that day. And she connects strings to 100 of them, and then sends them to attack the others. They're just her marionettes of mischief and massacre. And then when one falls, she just connects up to another, and then just so forth, and then just puppet masters her way through the monster army. Simple move, something she could do right away if she really wants to. Normally she just crushes or throws people around in her tornado whirlwinds and stuff, but I think this could be a fun application. Next up is the first of abilities that she could unlock. Pyrokinesis, the ability to create fire from your mind. This would have numerous ability or applications for this ability, such as offensive, like, she could shoot fiery blasts at you, or like a beam, basically. Or she could set up a perimeter of a firewall, or like always have like fire, like aura around her, so no one would want to punch her or make physical contact because they would burn. Light, fire produces light. So then you have that for herself, but also for, say, like a hostage situation underground, like in the Monster Association arc going on right now. She could give this to allies and victims, like, okay, here's a piece of wood, bam, fire that up, you have a torch, go that way, it's been cleared of monsters, and you'll be up to the surface. There you go. Also, warmth, say like someone's gone into, what's the word, it's when you get really cold. Hypothermia. And like they need to be warmed up real quick. And it's like we can't escort them out just yet. They're already on death's door, so she can just heat you up. Put a bunch of fire will-o-wisps kind of around you, because she could do this with her telekinetic powers as well, as like manipulating the flames to where they're like will-o-wisps everywhere. So light, heat, attack, defense, all that good stuff. Next up is a variant of pyrokinesis, which I call match pyrokinesis. Now that Book of Matches is coming into play. These are just so that, like, if she doesn't unlock pyrokinesis, she could still use it to a degree. Using telekinesis, she would, like, manipulate flames that she's ignited with the matches. You strike the match, she can then expand the flames, or allow them to grow and then just manipulate where they go, like the will-o-wisp idea. Or, like, she could then light other stuff on fire, getting more fire that way. So, yeah, essentially all that I described previously, but in a more limited capacity, because of the ignition source required. Next up is telepathy, which is the art of, like, mentally conversing, locating targets, sensing someone, info gathering, all that kind of thing. Basically what Professor X does on a daily basis. It's like, Gene, what's going on over there? It's like, the professor, it's like, we're fighting these things, whatever. You talk to people from far away, so if she lost the communicator that, Child Emperor gave her, she could just converse with other people. She could locate targets, like a hostage or some victim that's, passed out somewhere. It's like, I can sense them. Or sense someone coming up behind her. Or info gathering. It's like, okay, where are the hostages at? And it's like, I'm not telling you. Okay, well, I'll just read your mind and get the information that way. And also reading people's minds to evade attacks. Be it she doesn't really need it, but hey, really powerful enemies probably in the future of the series. So, wouldn't be a bad thing. Next up is remote vision. This kind of fills in the gaps of what telepathy doesn't necessarily allow. I've been watching a lot of X-Men Evolution lately, and there was an early episode in season 1 where the professor couldn't pinpoint where someone was because they fell unconscious or whatever, or if they were confused. So I was like, okay, how do you clear this up? Well, in real time, reading their minds, you could see what they see, and it would allow you to coordinate allies and civilians, to get them out of harm's way, coordinate your allies to fight the threat, and also to, like, if you, like, with the telepathy idea of extracting information, like, say, you have 4 people in 4 cardinal directions, and she's in the center, and she's seeing what they're seeing, and she's, like, taking some information about the, like, threats that they're about to face, and then she tells them about them, and then it makes them more effective. And yeah, that's about all for that. Next up is Clairvoyance. This is where the crystal ball comes into play. Um, we already had a big fortune teller character in One Punch Man. Her name was Shibabawa. She was an old fortune teller woman. She helped the Hero Society a lot with predicting disasters and the like, and she had a pretty decent accuracy when it came to like just normal natural disasters. Monster attacks were a bit more sketchy, but so the way fortune telling goes. But then she passed away while choking on a cough drop during the Alien Conquerors arc, so yeah. Someone needs to fill that role, and Tatsumaki could do it with clairvoyance. Future sight, fortune telling, it's all the same. So I figure if she could just look into a crystal ball and unlock this ability and everything, she could fill the role that Shibabawa has left behind. And, this could go far into the future where monster threats and everything are not as prevalent as they are in the present. And then she could just predict natural disasters to help evacuations and everything, so people stay safe and on their toes in certain situations. Next up is Astral Projection. This is actually an ability I didn't know about until early 2000s when I was like 10 years old watching Jackie Chan Adventures. The Sheep Talisman did Astral Projection, where essentially your soul, mind, psychic energy, whatever, leaves your body, and your body is just there on the ground, can't do anything. And then you can just like fly through walls. You're effectively a ghost. No one can really hear you or whatever, but they can't always see you either. So I thought, okay, what if she did this? Using her telekinesis, she could be like a poltergeist, essentially. Like moving things around, screwing with people, but also, if they can see her, she could just still use it as like easy stealth infiltration. Like she stores her body away somewhere safe, and from there she can just go through walls instead of making her presence known by breaking through the walls with her powers. Yeah. And plus it would just be easier to find hostages, and then she then saves them or whatever without being detected, as I've already stated. Next is Strength Limit Removal. This one is kind of tricky in how to describe it. It's basically where she uses her telekinesis to lighten the load of heavy weights. I mean, she can lift very heavy objects with her powers. So I was like, what if she physically used this to like build up her physical strength and training? Like say she wants to bench press 3,000 pounds. She could easily do that with her powers without even touching it, but she needs to train her body in a way so like on the off chance someone can negate her powers or nullify them or outdoes her abilities, she might need something to give her that extra edge to win in a fight. And this is where it comes into play. She uses this to build up her strength in a quick, effective manner. She may not get on the level of, say, Super Allied Darkshine, but if she could reach a fraction of his strength, it would benefit her greatly. So essentially it's just like she levitates the things and then just kind of like slowly, just builds up the strength and everything, and yeah, it works well. Next up is Gravity Manipulation. It's an ability we saw in 107. Giro Giro was using it, so I thought she could learn that too. Why not? Just manipulating the universal physics of gravity. Anybody can do it. So yeah, like lowering gravity to where people start floating and they can't really do anything against her, or raising the gravity so that they just get floored if they're flying, or so that they can't move, immobilizing them completely, and then they can be restrained further, or to just crush them, because that's a thing. So yeah, the principles of it are easy to use, and it could be further enhanced by her telekinesis in a sense, I guess. because her telekinesis kind of does the same thing, but I thought it's a little bit different. And plus it plays into a couple other things. Next up is the gravity ball, which is a technique using gravity manipulation. A person from Mob Psycho, it was one of the branch chiefs, he had gravity powers. Didn't really ever think gravity was a power associated with psychic abilities, but whatever. One has changed my mind. So yeah, this guy would just make like gravity balls and he would shoot them at various targets. So if you can manipulate gravity, you should be able to construct a condensed ball of it. So then she just launches it at someone or does like a spirit bomb on top of someone with crushing, hundreds of times of Earth's gravity, and then bam, they dead. So it could be big, small, whatever she wants to do with it. So yeah, that's an offensive tactic. And finally, we have black hole generation. This is kind of where any manga, TV show, whatever has taught me, gravity equals black hole if focused well enough. So basically, she just condenses her powers into one spot, creating a little black hole that she will call like Black Hole Chan or something stupid, because that's what they do. But and she could use this for offensive, defensive, or a third option of cleaning up after, body or battles that have gone on and cleaning up the bodies of dead monsters. So like offensive capabilities would have been like she just sucks up a monster and then they're just crushed to death as they're being sucked in. Defense, like someone shooting projectiles, she can put the black hole in the way, sucking up the attacks, no big deal. And then, like I said, she could essentially become like the cleaning crew of the Hero Society or Hero Association, where like she just has little black holes that suck up all the debris and dead bodies after battles. So yeah, and that's about all I have for Tatsumaki. I could probably go a bit further, but I may save that for another video. She's kind of fun. But yeah, let me know what you thought of Tatsumaki and all of her abilities that I've illustrated today. Anything you've had on your mind. Quite literally, because it's all psychic powers, right? But yeah, let me know what you thought, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Here's where you can find me. Links down below. And until next time, Keishlings, roll out.